What is going on, fellas? And welcome back to Hertha Hero with me, FoggyPlays, on FM22, the beta. We are looking at the end of season review today and the transfers we're doing up to the first game of the new league season, because we're into season 2 now. And if you saw what happened in the last episode, we're not overly happy. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's quite sad. Anyway, if you do want to enjoy this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now let's get into the end of season review. So fellas, this is our first time looking at the end of season review in FM22. I've seen a couple of videos of the end of season review, but I haven't seen one for myself. So this is my first time looking at it. As you would expect, Kevin Ehlers does come in as our best signing, because he did play quite a number of games. So what's there? A little bit of a misfortunate season. Jovetic didn't have the best of seasons either. Agu actually didn't play too badly for a guy who didn't really get a huge amount of opportunities. Malida, 36 appearances, 5 goals. Pepetti, 24 appearances. Ariza scored 2 goals and 1 assist. Ecklenkamp, to be fair, 28 appearances off the bench. That's not terrible. We did make quite a number of signings, but they're quite happy with the signing of Ecklenkamp, or Ehlers, as am I. That was pretty decent. Our top goal scorer in the league was Piatek. They're a little disappointed because they were expecting us to finish in the top 4. Fortunately, we did have a poor end to the season, but they, again, not overly delighted with our run to the Pokal, even though we reached the final and they only wanted us to reach the semi-finals. Whatever. The biggest win in the league was against Mainz, who unfortunately we couldn't beat second time around at home, of all places, which is just fantastic. Match to remember was a 4-1 victory over Freiburg, when I thought we were actually going to be able to, push on for the Champions League. Goal of the season was for Piatek against Bayern Munich. We got a new sponsorship deal of 10.43 million. It was a European sponsor or something. Some European crowd came along and threw money at us. And that was fantastic. Annual revenue or sponsorship is 55 million. Broadcast revenue 1.5. Or corporate and hospitality 1.15. Prize money 65 million. Match day commercial and retail of 2.17. So our merchandising sales were 2.44. And as is almost always the case, 10% of that was non-domestic. 313,656 shirts sold, the most of which had Piatek's name on the back of them. Derrida, Suat Jovetic, interestingly, and Arizo selling plenty of shirts. Our normal lineup, to be fair, does show kind of what we saw during the season. Relatively good defensively. Goalkeeper did fine. Everyone else a little bit not ideal. Plattenhardt with 18 assists got as many assists as Piatek scored goals, and I was weary about Plattenhardt. I didn't think he was going to be good enough to actually play for us consistently. Has absolutely smashed it out of the park. Turner Riga makes it in. 27 appearances. Didn't make as many as I would have liked him to. Our strikers then really not having the best of times, to be fair to them. So, Club Awards, Fans Player of the Season, Plattenhardt, not hard to see why. He did have a fantastic time. Young Player of the Season was Martin Darda. Signing of the Season was Ehlers. Goal of the Season, Piatek, as we saw. Top goal scorer, Piatek with 18. Most assists, Plattenhardt with 18. Most man of the matches. That shows how bad we were. That our goalkeeper, who was terrible for the majority of the season, got 4 player of the matches. Plattenhardt had the highest average rating, hence why he won Fans Player of the Season, because that's pretty much how it goes. Most passes completed per 90. Turner Riga with 56. Most goals by a player in a match and a league match was Belfodil, who we sold. So hopefully someone can come along and beat that. Most assists in a season, most man of the match, most player of the match in a season. Plattenhardt has it here, but Shvalov has it there. Okay. Azifik had 12 yellow cards and no reds. We didn't win any competition prizes, as is somewhat expected, because didn't really have the best of seasons. So that is fine. I've already had a look at the analysis report. Wasn't great. So for next season, they want us to develop players using the club's youth system, sign high reputation players. Okay. They want us to grow the club's reputation in the next 5 years, work within the wage budget, which just we always do, increase commercial revenue, maybe try and sign Mbappe. Minimum 4-year contracts for first team players. That's fine. We're not going to be here for that long, I would imagine. Potentially we're going to keep this going after the beta anyway, but we'll have to wait and see. They want us to qualify for the Champions League and reach the semi-finals of the Europa League. Nothing about the Pokal. They want us to work towards challenging for the title before challenging for it in a few seasons' time. So we're just going to accept that. Squad update. Managerial support is still not amazing. What do we want to do for next season? Profit changes. Squad now next season. Bring new faces. I want to talk to you about the effort season. We're just priest and trainer correct. Ooh. Why you're putting pressure on us? Okay, I've been too ambitious. That's fine. Glad to hear. Want us to reach the latter stages, which sounds pretty good to Ellers. That was the sort of reaction I was after. Discuss some promises. Young players. Fantastic. That is all for now. And see you at the start of pre-season. My assistant manager is expressionless. Fantastic. I'm so happy that my assistant manager is just has no interest in anything. As you can see, Jessic Gankum has been out for 11 months, still injured with his damaged cruciate ligament. He's a potential player for next season if he comes back and is actually able to play, because he's not dropped off a huge amount and he's still a pretty decent player. The end of season break, we're going to be back in June. Don't really want to talk momentum. I want to see the overall momentum. Yes, they dominated the match. We had a little period where we were slightly better than them. Not ideal. So that is the end of season review done and dusted. We will be back in a second when I'm going to show off some of the players that we've brought in. We do have quite a number of players coming in. I don't want to show you because it'll spoil it, but we have a number of players coming in quite important places, in positions that I think we need, and there's a couple of young players coming in as well. So not all of them are going to be first team regulars, but we'll have to wait and see. So we'll be back in just a second for the 1st of July when I show off all the players that are after arriving. Right, fellas, it is the 1st of July, and that can only mean one thing. Transfer window has started. Transfers are coming in. We haven't left, and nobody's left just yet, but we do have players coming in, and I had a quick little sconce up. There's a lot of them. So the Bundesliga window has opened, and Gabriel Jesus is being linked with Bayern Munich. We have some players who are being linked with here, but we have some very, very interesting players coming in. As you can see, so I'll skip over that. We tried saying Sula. Instead, he decided to go to Chelsea to get paid 94,000. I offered him 100 grand a week. He said no. So that was disappointing. Baladi also has gone to PSG. We offered him 100,000 a week. He said no, thank you. So there's out in two quite good players there, you could say. Brighton saying Bamba. Plus, they sold Shane Duffy. Shane Duffy's gone to play for Lille. Interesting. There's an Irish international playing for Lille now. That is delightful. I'm guessing this assignment finished is on Wilfred Gnatto. I offered him a lot of money to join us, and he said no. PSG. As you can see, I was kind of looking to get a striker in. I did have Gnatto in the last time I actually managed Hertha. Didn't really get as much first team football as I had intended on him getting this time, but this is fine. Gerbic has joined Lille. Yeah, has joined Lille, as it is expected. Player that I had just kept an eye on. Jens Peter Hogg, it's fine. Nuno Mendes went to PSG. So it wasn't really a player we were looking at signing anyway. Just came up with my scout reports and I just kind of just scouted him. We have a player who it says, made sense to sell him because it looked like he wasn't going to make the grade. He was out of contract and we just accepted anything. As you can see, 12 new signings have come in, with us spending 26.5 million. So to be fair, not that much. I would imagine probably going to cost about that. It's not going to cost that much to pay for all these people to go and learn how to speak the language. But we do have a number of players that are coming in. Some of them not for a huge amount of money, it has to be said. Tim Schreiber is just a goalkeeper who seemed like he was a good bit of business, but I don't think. Ethan Brooks is a central midfielder who we've loaned back to the club that we signed him from, TS Galaxy in South Africa. Just a decent box-to-box midfielder. He's an international, so kind of made sense just letting him go back. He's physically fantastic. Carlos Vivas is a central defender who is Venezuelan. I tried signing him after he went through the waivers at New York City, I think it was. Decided to go to Charlotte instead, and then went through waivers again. The MLS really does not work this year. So he's joined us. Second attempt. I think he's going to be a pretty decent player. Coney De Winter has come from Juventus on a free. Peru Nolasoken is Athletic Bilbao. He's a Basque centre back. Just picked him for £1 million. Looked like a decent player, so I said, why not? Pretty okay all round. Centre back, defensive midfielder, can kind of do everything. Jacob Perelman is just a right back we brought in on a free, even though he wasn't. It was an amateur contract, I think it was. Finn Yates, you've already been aware of. Romaro Barrow. I think this could potentially be the best bit of business we did. He was on loan at Estoril from Porto. Decided to pay £5 million for him because I know he can come in. It can become an exceptional player. Brought him in on a star player contract, 24,000 a week for a player that we'll have to wait and see how he gets on. But he's going to be good. Definitely going to be very, very good. We signed Xavi Simons, who I think I already told you about that. Marshall Ruddy has finally joined us. We signed Lorenzo Luca, who absolutely tore it up in Serie B last season. Yeah, Serie B with Pisa. Paid 8 million for him. Came up on my scout reports and they were like, this guy's going to be amazing. He's currently operating at a Bundesliga level. Is our best striker. So, can only play one position. But he can do it really. I'm not going to play him as a complete forward or a target man. I think a complete forward is probably where he's going to be playing. But you can see 15 to 21 million is his value at the minute, and we're only paying him 25 grand a week. I think that's a tidy bit of business. To be fair, so far nobody is like super unhappy about a player we signed. Alte Binder is our new goalkeeper. We brought him in from Fenerbahce. I think he's an upgrade on Shvalov, who is potentially on the way out anyway. I think was it PSG or Barcelona? Somebody was in for this guy. Maybe it was Chelsea. I don't know. One of the big teams were in for this guy, and I just decided I've been kind of scouting him for a little while. Wanted to see. Played 31 times, conceded 32. I think it was the same as what Shvalov managed for us last season. But that is 12 pretty decent players. I think Ethan Brooks is the only one that isn't actually going to be in the team. Or he's not going to be at the club right away because he has been sent back on loan. But I think this does kind of show what our intentions are. I'll come back to that in a second after I've ended this part of the recording. Because as you can see, Lubeck have taken two of our players who were also out of contract. I just accepted free transfers. Meppin took another one of our players who, again, on a free. I just wanted to get rid of him. Escobar has gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach. What's his value at now? 6.5, not for sale. Okay, well, it's kind of nice to be able to see that. I didn't really. Handy. It just wasn't great. We've set the record for the highest spenders, 27 million. I'm trying to get rid of Jovetic and Leuven because I think Bochum. Yeah, he was on loan with Bochum. They came in and offered 2 million for him. It's like, no, thank you. Set an asking price of 7.5 million, and I'm just going to see if I can get him to leave. Dennis Mann has offers for him. Some of our players have offers in for them as well. I'm going to try and loan out Barrete. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. We do have a couple of players that we were looking at. We do have one more player who is potentially going to be coming in. Says he's a striker. They think he's best as a winger. It's just a punt. I think this guy, he's 16 years old. On 27% knowledge, they reckon he has 5-star. It's nothing. We're literally paying nothing. Don't think it's a terrible idea. So we're going to potentially be bringing a Norwegian striker in, who, to be fair, at the age of 16, if he's got 13 finishing, that's really quite good. If he's got even 15 flair, still pretty decent. There are some players we have in our team, in our under 19s, that this guy would absolutely demolish. So yeah, by all means, I'm gonna throw a £0 offer in for him and see how he gets on. What's the worst that could happen? I do think, however, that the squad is going to be insanely big because I brought a lot of players up from the. Yeah, it's insane. We brought a lot of players up from the B team and the under 19s that were out on loan last season, like Arne Meyer, Luca Biacco, Del Rosen, Aldorete, Leuven, but Leuven is going to be leaving. Redan is in the first team. Sonny Zimmer, Cade, who appeared to pick up an injury. Albrecht, who I'm thinking about potentially giving some game time to. But there's going to be a lot of these players that are going to get shifted out. I think Luca Biacco isn't really going to fit into our system. Jovetic, just because he's pretty old. Shvalov has interest from Bayern Munich, so probably going to be selling him. To be fair, he wasn't terrible last year, but I do think we can do better. So we'll have to see how we get on. We haven't played any friendlies yet. I'm not going to bring you back for the Pokal this time around because it should be a case of us just walking it. Going to be playing Berliner AK in our first game, our first friendly this season, which happens to be on my birthday. So that's fantastic. But we're taking on Stuttgart in the first game of the season. How is the season preview looking at the moment? We are third favourites. Still don't have any players in the media Dream 11, but I think Erling Haaland has the potential to be on his way to Manchester City, which would be good for us. Wouldn't mind if some Bayern players left as well, but as it is, Balliender is our best player, and then you scroll all the way down for Nick Stark. Not ideal. Kevin Trapp was a player that kept being pushed towards me. Did consider him, but then he signed a new contract, so I'm not 100% sure because he was saying he was unhappy. So they're playing Lewandowski is an attacking midfielder in this world. Is he interested in joining us? I don't think we could even afford him. So finance-wise, we still have 73 million in the bank, 39 million transfer budget, and we still have about 100,000 a week in wages. Actually, not that bad. Seeing as how we've also improved our youth recruitment, we're improving the youth facilities and the training facilities, so we're kind of keeping going. And we did form, I was going to say an alliance, but an affiliation with Melbourne Victory. So that's pretty neat. An Australian club, so we can try and increase the commercial revenue, which, sign high reputation players. We've literally just opened. The window's just opened. Calm down. Alright, we will be back in just a second for the roundup of all the remaining transfers before the season kicks off in the game, which we'll be playing in the next episode against Stuttgart. So don't go anywhere. We are merely seconds away. Seconds away.